is O God, the God of my salvation, and my tongue shall sing aloud of thy righteousness. O Lord, open thou my lips, and my mouth shall declare thy praise. For as thou desirest sacrifice, I would have given it thee. Thou delightest not in burnt offerings. Sacrifices to God are a contrite spirit, a contrite and humble heart, O God, thou wilt not despise. Do good, O Lord, and thy goodwill unto Zion, that the walls of Jerusalem may be built up. Then shall thou be pleased with the sacrifice of righteousness, with burnt offerings and whole burnt offerings. Then shall they offer bullocks upon thine altar.
Amen. Peace, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, have mercy.
Help us, save us, have mercy on us, and keep us, O God, by thy grace.
Lord, have mercy.
All human efforts are holy, immaculate, most blessed and glorious, Lady Theotokos, and ever Virgin Mary.
Excellent Theotokos, save
With all the
us.
saints, let us commend ourselves and each other, and all of our life unto Christ our God. Lord, thou art the merciful God, who lovest mankind, and unto thee we ascribe in glory, to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, now and ever, and unto the ages of ages.
O wretched soul, think of thy last hours, be dismayed at the rebuking of the fig tree. Act and double the talent given to thee with a fatigue-loving purpose. Awake, watching and crying out, lest we remain outside the chamber of Christ.
The chamber of Christ. O wretched soul, why art thou indifferent, and why dost thou vainly imagine unveiling ventures? Why dost thou direct thine energies to things passing? For it is the last hour, and we are about to be separated from what is here. Wherefore, while still thou hast time, listen and cry, I have sinned, O Christ, my Savior. Despise me not like the barren fig tree, but since thou art compassionate, have mercy upon me who cry to thee in fear, lest I remain outside the bridal chamber of Christ. The bridal chamber of Christ.
The Synaxarion. On this day, we make remembrance of the parable of the 10 virgins, which Jesus spake along with others as he was coming to his passion. It teaches us not to rest as though safe in virginity, but to guard it whenever possible, and not to desist from any virtues and good deeds, especially deeds of mercy, which make the lamp of virginity shine brilliantly. It teaches us also to be ready for our end, not knowing when our hour is coming, as the wise virgins were ready to meet the bride, lest death overtake us and close the door of the heavenly chamber in our face. And we hear the terrible judgment that the foolish virgins heard. Verily, verily, I know you not. Wherefore, O Christ, the bridegroom, number us with the wise virgins and have mercy upon us. Amen. The three holy youths would not obey the decree of the tyrant. When cast into the furnace, they
as ye sing, bless the Lord, all his works.
We praise, bless, and worship the Lord.
Verily the three of pride whose yielded not to the command of the usurper, when they were thrown into the furnace, but confessed God, singing, bless the Lord, all his works.
The Lady Theotokos and the Mother of the Light, let us honor and magnify in song.
In your womb you contain God who cannot be contained. You conceive the joy of the world. We praise you, O most holy Virgin. Glory to the Father, to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit.
Thou didst say to the disciples of good one, watch, for ye know not the hour in which the Lord shall come to reward everyone.
Look now and ever unto ages of ages, amen. In thy awesome second coming, O Master, establish me on thy right hand with the sheep, overlooking the multitude of my sins.
O Holy Virgin, who didst contain in thy womb the uncontainable God, and bore joy unto the world, thee do we praise.
Again and again in peace, let us pray to the Lord. Help us, save us, have mercy on us, and keep us of God by thy grace. Calling remembrance our holy
Blessed art thou, O Lord, teach me thy statutes.
Blessed art thou, O Master, make me to understand thy commandments.
Blessed art thou, O Holy One, enlighten me with thy precepts.
Thy mercy, O Lord, endureth forever. Despise not the works of thy hands.
To thee belongeth worship, to thee belongeth praise, to thee belongeth glory, to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, now and ever, and unto ages of ages. Amen.
Let us complete our morning prayer unto the Lord.
Have mercy.
Help us, save us, have mercy on us, and keep us, O God, by thy grace.
Have mercy.
That whole thing may be perfect, holy, peaceful, and sinless, let us ask of the Lord.
Yes, O Lord.
An angel of peace, the faithful God, guardian of our souls and bodies, let us ask of the Lord.
Yes, O Lord.
For the remission of our sins and transgressions, let us ask of the Lord.
Yes, O
All things good and profitable for our souls and the peace of the world, let us ask of the Lord. All things good and profitable for our souls and the peace of the world, let us complete to make them of our life in peace and repentance. Let us ask of the Lord. Have mercy into our life, painless, blameless, and peaceful, and in good defense with the dread judgment seat of Christ. Let us ask of the Lord. Calling to remembrance now, holy, immaculate, most blessed and glorious Sancta Todos, and ever Virgin Mary. With all the saints, let us commend ourselves and each other, and all of our life unto Christ our God. Lord, thou art the God of mercies and bounties, in love towards mankind, and unto thee we ascribe the glory, to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, now and ever, and unto the ages of ages. Peace be to all. Let us bow our heads unto the Lord. Holy Lord, who dwellest on high, regard the humble of heart. With an all-seeing eye, thou dost behold all creation. Unto thee we have bowed the neck of our soul and body, that we entreat thee, O Holy of Holies, to stretch forth thy visible hand to the holy place, and bless us all. And if by aught we have sinned, whether voluntary or involuntary, forgive inasmuch as thou art a good God who lovest mankind, vouchsafing unto us thy earthly and heavenly good things. For thine it is to show mercy and to save us, O our God, and unto thee we ascribe the glory, to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, now and ever, and unto the ages of ages.
Amen.
wherein we have seen evil, and look upon thy servants and upon thy works, and do thou guide their sons.
When thou comest in glory with the angelic host, O Jesus, and sittest on the throne of judgment, separate me not from the ways of the right hand, for thou knowest the ways of the left are crooked, and destroy me not among the goats. Harden sinners, but number me with the sheep on the right hand, and save me, for thou art the lover of mankind.
And let the brightness of the Lord our God be on us. Prosper thou the work of our hands. O prosper thou our handiwork.
O bridegroom, brilliant in the beauty above all mankind, who didst call us to the spiritual banquet of thy chamber, cast away from me the likeness of the great rags of iniquity, by participation of the passion, and adorn me with the robe of thy beauty, and distinguish me with the brilliant guest in the kingdom, for thou only art compassionate.
Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, both now and ever, and unto ages of ages. Amen. Behold, the Master entrusteth thee with the gift of talent, O my soul. Wherefore receive thou the gift with fear, lend to the giver, and render consolation to the poor. Obtain the Lord as a friend, that thou mayst stand on his right hand when he comes in glory, and that thou may hear that most blessed voice. Enter thou, servant, into the joy of thy Lord. Prepare me a prodigal for this, O Savior, for the multitude of thy mercies.
It is a good thing to confess unto the Lord, to sing praises in the name of the Most High, show forth thy mercy in the morning, and thy truth by night.
Holy God, holy mighty, holy immortal, have mercy on us. Holy God, holy mighty, holy immortal, have mercy on us. Holy God, holy mighty, holy immortal, have mercy on us. Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, both now and ever, and unto ages of ages. Amen. All Holy Trinity, have mercy on us. Lord, cleanse us from our sins. Master, pardon our iniquities. Holy God, forgive me of our infirmities for thy name's sake. Lord, have mercy. Lord, have mercy. Lord, have mercy. Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, now and ever, and unto ages of ages. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, and the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, now and ever, and unto the ages of ages.
Amen. O wretched soul, think of my last hours, be dismayed at
humility, patience, and love to thy servant. Yea, O Lord and King, grant me to see my own sins, and not to judge my brother. For thou art blessed unto the ages of ages. Amen. God be gracious unto me, a sinner, have mercy upon me. O God, be gracious unto me, a sinner, have mercy upon me. O God, be gracious unto me, a sinner, and have mercy upon me. O Lord and Master of my life, take from me the spirit of sloth, meddling, lust of power, and idle talk. But give me rather the spirit of chastity, humility, patience, and love to thy servant. Yea, O Lord and King, grant me to see my own sins, and not to judge my brothers. For thou art blessed unto the ages of ages. Amen. Glory to thee, O Christ our God, and all glory to thee.
Glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, now and ever, and unto ages of ages. Amen. Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy, Lord have mercy. Father, bless.
Again this evening, we're going to be doing the special prayer to help end and to protect us from this pandemic. Before the final dismissal. O Lord our God, rich and merciful and wise in his care, in thy wisdom take care of our lives. Hear our prayers. Accept our repentance for our sins. Stop this rampant pandemic in the same way as thou didst stop punishing thy people in the days of David the king, the physician of our souls and bodies. Grant healing to those afflicted by this pandemic, and let them rise quickly from their pain to glorify thee, O merciful Savior. And as for those who are healthy, protect them from any disease. Bless, O Lord, and support all those who care with love and sacrifice for the sick, wherever they are found, whether it be at home or in hospitals, and keep them with thy grace. Protect thy people from all disease and pain, and teach us to value life and health as thy gifts. Grant us, O God, thy peace. Fill our hearts with firm faith in thy care and with love towards our neighbor. Have mercy on us and save us, O God. Grant to thee we ascribe glory to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, now and ever, and unto the ages of ages. Amen.
Amen.
May Christ, whose mind was voluntary passion for our salvation, Christ our true God, through the intercession of the Immaculate and all blameless Holy Mother, the supplication, the honor of glorious prophet from Baptist John, of St. Andrew, first called up the apostles, patron and protector of our community, and of the holy righteous ancestors of God, Joachim and Anna, and for all the saints, have mercy on us, for as much as he is good and loveth mankind.
Amen.
Through the prayers, Holy Fathers, the Lord Jesus Christ our God, have mercy upon us and save us.
Amen.
Before we sign off this evening, just wanted to maybe say a few remarks about the gospel and about the service tonight. You know, this is a wonderful idea, this idea of the bridegroom. It gives us really a vision of really much about Christian life. You know, we're always moving. It's why we
face our churches east, we're always moving and waiting in expectation for the second coming of our Lord, for the true union in which the bridegroom returns to the bride, which is the church. If we listened to many of the verses this evening, in allusion to that parable, I'd ask you to read it for yourself. It's the 25th chapter, the Gospel of St. Matthew, the first 13 verses, about the 10 wise and the 10 foolish virgins. I wanted to make a comment tonight because many years, especially in my youth, I was troubled by this parable. I'll tell you why. You see, you have 10 who have, and you have 10 who have not. The bridegroom came, and the 10 who had lit their lamps and went, and they greeted him. And the others said, wait, the bridegroom's coming. Give us some of your oil, so that we too may greet the bridegroom. With all the generosity, all the love, and all the sharing of the Gospels, as a child I was troubled hearing this parable. Why simply did not they who have give to those who had not? It was many years before this parable began to ring true to me. And it's particularly good for now, right here, at this time of pandemic, in which there seems to be a gulf between you and I. It's most uncomfortable speaking only to a cell phone sitting in the middle of the church. I'd rather be looking at your smiling and maybe sometimes not so smiling faces. But you see, this parable has something to do with us and our spiritual life. It has to do about those who, the oil is not simply a commodity to be passed over, but it's about the spiritual preparation. It's about the time and the energy we have prepared ourselves for receiving the Lord. That what's inside of us, that type of quality, we can emulate and show others, but we cannot reach inside of us and hand to them. You see, what is required is for each one of us to do our own sense of spiritual preparation. Each one of us has got to put a little time, a little energy into a spiritual life. Each one of us has got to, in a sense, especially now, help sustain and enhance our own faith by our efforts. Being a part of a streaming service like this is but a very small part. The church has always had 3 great remedies for the Lenten season and intensifies during the Holy Week of this year, this week of the Passion, which we all prepare ourselves for Pascha. What it really asks us to do is pray. Personally, pray. Invest some time and invest some energy. Do it as a family. Do it together with a vision of the kingdom. It asks us to fast. Well, if many have not started the fast yet, or perhaps now that we kind of broke our usual attending Lenten service habit, have let it also fall by the wayside. I ask you that during this week, particularly fast, from all things that are of a fleshly nature. And therefore, we begin to envision our lives by seeing that. And it's a reminder every meal that we are to turn our attention away from the things of this world and many of the cares and the pleasures of life. And lastly, we are shown acts of charity and caring. This one, with social distancing in force, we may think is a little hard. But all of us know someone we can check on, whether it's the neighbor next door, whether it's someone in our community, some of the elderly or shut-ins of our community. If you know them, call them. If you don't know them and have their number, still call them and introduce yourself to them. This could be a time in which we learn to reach within ourselves and to do an outreach to others, to share the faith. Just because many of you are not here in a building does not mean that the church is not there with you and should be there first and foremost in your hearts, your minds, and in your very life. So, tonight I'm asking you, to engage this Holy Week. Look upon those guides that are out and are posted on the Facebook page on how to get the most we can out of a streaming service. And take it seriously. We have some service books left for the Holy Week, should you wish to follow the exact text we're using here. And if not, many of you, I know, come out, use them. If you don't have Bible, I'll tell you what, get out your Bible. And I will post each day the gospel readings and the readings in which we're going to have. And therefore, you can prepare yourself and follow the reading of each one of these gospels that rings so deep and so true. You're going to find that the very bone marrow, the very DNA of the church is revealed through Holy Week, and particularly through the Holy Scriptures. So make this a journey. Make it as engaging and make it as energy-filled as we can. I cannot do that for you. It's something you're going to have to prepare and do for yourselves. But I assure you, each one of us can benefit from this experience.